You've spent months planning the perfect cruise. Maybe it's your honeymoon, a long overdue family escape, or that once-in-a-lifetime trip you've always dreamed about. But here's what too many people don't realize until it's too late. If you don't do your homework and understand the new cruise rules in 2025, you could end up with a trip that's way more stressful and far more expensive than expected. We're not just talking about a few bucks. These new rules, fees, and policy changes can cost you hundreds, even thousands of dollars, especially if you get blindsided. That's why in this video, I'm breaking down the most important cruise rule changes of 2025, what's changed, how it impacts your experience, and the costly mistakes to avoid for each one. Let's get you cruise ready and stress-free. Princess Cruises has quietly made some big changes to their drink package, and it's catching loyal guests off guard. Here's what's new in 2025. Canned sodas are no longer included. Only fountain drinks now, which means no more grabbing a cold can to take back to your room or stash in your mini fridge. No more double pours or top shelf requests. Even if you're willing to pay more or combine your drink credits, bartenders are being instructed to follow stricter rules. No sharing drinks. Even if your partner also has a package, you can no longer pick up drinks for them. Each person must be present to order for themselves. This has frustrated a lot of cruisers, especially those used to ordering for family or friends, or grabbing drinks on the go between shows and excursions. Mistake to avoid: assuming your favorite drink or ordering habit is still allowed. Be sure to read the updated policy in your cruise portal before boarding, or you might end up with unexpected charges on your onboard account, or just a whole lot of inconvenience. If you've ever cruised with MSC, you know how confusing their dining program has been. Specialty dining felt like solving a math equation. Guests didn't know what was included, which menus had surcharges, or when to book. But in 2025, MSC is making a big change for the better. Specialty restaurants will now offer a simple 3-course set menu that's included with your dining package. And if you pre-book your specialty dining before boarding, you'll get an automatic 20% discount. This makes budgeting and meal planning a whole lot easier. It's also a major step toward MSC aligning with the dining clarity offered by cruise lines like Celebrity or Royal Caribbean. Okay, here's a mistake you definitely want to avoid: waiting to book your dining until you're already on board. Not only will you miss out on the discount, but you might also end up stuck with late night reservations, or even find that some venues are fully booked. So, here's a pro tip: log into your cruise portal, or just call MSC directly to pre-reserve your dining while all the options are still wide open. Now, this next one is honestly pretty alarming and is happening more than ever in 2025. Cruise passengers are getting emails, text messages, and even phone calls claiming they owe money for things like port taxes, late booking adjustments, or security processing charges. These scams look incredibly real. Sometimes they even have your cruise line's logo, your ship name, and your actual sailing date. Details that scammers pull from public social media posts or even hacked confirmation emails. But here's the deal: no cruise line will ever ask for payments through email links, gift cards, or wire transfers. Period. Another mistake to watch out for: believing the urgency. Scammers will try to pressure you with fake threats, like saying your cruise will be cancelled unless payment is received in 24 hours. Always verify with your cruise line through their official website or by calling the number listed on your official confirmation email. Never use the contact information in the message you receive. So, here's something you really need to know. This is honestly one of the biggest budget busters for 2025 new government taxes on cruises in both Mexico and Hawaii. Let's start with Mexico. They initially proposed this steep $42 per guest tax. After some negotiations, the finalized amount is $5 per person starting in July 2025. But keep in mind, that rate is set to increase every year. So yeah, prices will be going up in 2026 and beyond. Now, for Hawaii is proposing an 11% cabin tax for the portion of your fare that applies to time spent in Hawaiian waters. For a $3,000 cruise fare, that could add like $330 or more in taxes per cabin. And what's tricky is, these taxes often aren't clearly listed when you first book. They usually show up closer to your final payment, or even in your final invoice. Here's a big mistake you'll want to avoid: not budgeting for tax surcharges. A lot of cruisers just assume their total price is locked in, only to be shocked by hundreds of dollars in added fees later. So, always double check your invoice at least 30 days before departure. And if you see any new charges that don't make sense, just call the cruise line and ask for an explanation. 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃𝗃, Royal Caribbean's private beach resort in Haiti, has honestly been a staple in Caribbean cruises for decades. But due to ongoing political unrest and safety concerns, most summer 2025 sailings will no longer visit 𝗟𝗶𝘃. Instead, those ports are being replaced with stops like Grand Turk, Perfect Day at 𝗂𝗂𝗂, or even extended sea days. Now, 𝗟𝗶𝘃 offered some really unique excursions, like Dragon's Breath ziplining, private cabanas, and artisan markets. Experiences you just might not find at the replacement ports. One mistake you really want to avoid is assuming your itinerary is final. Royal Caribbean, and honestly, other cruise lines too, reserve the right to change ports right up to embarkation day. So it's smart to check your itinerary weekly and definitely take another look the day before you sail, just to make sure you don't miss out on any prepaid excursions or destination plans. Carnival, which is super well known for its family-friendly fun, is actually flipping the script. In November of 2025, the Carnival Magic will be hosting the cruise line's first ever 21 and over adults only sailing, with a casino theme, live entertainment, and a bunch of onboard experiences tailored strictly for adults. Think nightlife events, no splash zones or screaming toddlers, and dedicated 21 plus activities and casino events. Carnival says this is just a pilot program, but if it's successful, it could launch a whole new wave of theme-based adult cruises. So, here's a mistake to avoid. If you're cruising with kids, always double check the age requirements on your sailing. Some travelers, believe it or not, booked the adults only cruise by mistake and were actually denied boarding. And hey, if you're looking for a kid-free experience, this just might be your dream sailing. The biggest mistake cruisers make in 2025? Not reviewing their booking before they board. So here's what you should do in the 7 days leading up to your cruise. Review your entire itinerary. Has a port changed? Revisit your dining and drink package policies. Look for updated fees or taxes in your cruise invoice. Double check boarding times, terminal locations, and check-in documents. And yeah, read all pre-cruise emails from your cruise line, even the boring ones. Another mistake to avoid: sailing blind. Don't rely on what someone told you in a Facebook group last year. Read the most current info from your cruise line and make decisions based on that. Here's a quick recap of the 7 cruise rule changes you need to know in 2025. First, Princess cracks down on drink sharing and can policies. Second, MSC simplifies their dining experience. Third, scam fees targeting cruises are on the rise. Fourth, Mexico and Hawaii introduce real new taxes. Fifth, 𝗟̱̱ is removed from Royal Caribbean itineraries. Sixth, Carnival launches its first 21+ adults-only cruise. And seventh, your number one move, double-check everything before you set sail. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of cruisers. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Which change surprised you the most? And don't miss the next one. Top cruise port, mistakes that could ruin your day ashore. Catch you on board.